Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. It is another Friday night writing. Let me know if you guys can hear me and that you can see my screen. Okay. My computer freaked out a few minutes ago, so hopefully you guys can see me and you can hear me. So I will give it another minute and then we'll go ahead and we will dig in. We have a lot to cover tonight. A lot. Oh, hello, Emery. From your balcony with a frosty beverage? Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much for letting me know. Like I said, my computer completely it spazzed out on me. For some reason, Restream just hates me, and yeah, that is life. Okay, well, let's go ahead and we will do a recap of what's going on. So anyone who is joining us for the first time, I actually remembered to post in the Novel Crafter Discord today. Yeah, we're on week 5, but I managed to not post any of the other weeks. So anyone who is joining us from Novel Crafter, welcome. And so, yeah, let's do a quick recap of what this is. So we are going to be writing in urban fantasy mystery. And so the original assignment was to write a novel inspired by the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. I decided to make my life so much more difficult than it needed to be by deciding to do a series instead of just one book. One book. I'm wishing I probably would have done that, but I have a tendency to take on a little bit extra stuff. So when we had started, I had done the category research. And so the categories that we are writing for, hello, Master Tamari. We are writing for urban fantasy, and these are the Kindle categories. So the ebook categories, excuse me, in the Kindle store. Urban fantasy, vampire paranormal suspense, werewolf and shifter paranormal suspense, and private investigator mysteries. So whenever I was doing the right to market research, these were the categories that made the most sense for us to position our book in. So if you go, let's see, we are on the Notion document, and you guys should have that in the chat. If you scroll down here, it looks very different. I've made some updates. And if you come here down to the urban fantasy mystery editor, as well as the urban fantasy mystery developmental editor, I built the information about these categories into these editors. So the things that are popular and the things that you want to avoid as well are built into these prompts. So the plan is to write a 3-book series. Well, we're going to plan a 3-book series. We're going to write the first book. We are also going to incorporate a romantic subplot because romantasy is super big right now. We are going to have a female protagonist, which it's yes, hello space. Yes, I am live. We definitely have a female protagonist here. And then we also are going to have a morally ambiguous male lead. And of course we are. As well as personal stakes. So, her life is going to heck in a handbasket. And I'm there for it. I hope you guys are too. So let's move on. The tropes that we are including in this story are reluctant hero, found family, grumpy sunshine, ghost sidekick with attitude, and a cursed main character. So, and we actually decided to take that curse and kind of flip it on its head and change it into a gift. So I'm going to take some water because I am congested today. And let's go through the changes that I've made to the page. So if you come down here, I actually made a soundtrack using Suno today when I should have been writing and building the codex. So if you click on this, well, do it this way. Hello, Alicia. So if you come here, you can see the soundtrack that I made for just the books or the book or the series, whatever you want to call it. I just had a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. And that's using AI music over there on Suno. So, and then I actually moved the resources down. So the GPT, it's the same GPT, I just made it a little bit cleaner looking. Yay, Suno. Yeah. Alicia's doing some amazing stuff with her serial and then putting music in every episode. So I'm learning from the best. Down here we have also prompts. These are novel crafter prompts. And if you grab this code, you should be able to add the prompt to your novel crafter. So we have one, it's called a plotting partner. I bet you can't guess what it's for. It's actually untested. So I literally created it right before the stream. So we are going to test it live. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I've also got that urban fantasy mystery developmental editor to add to my, oh goodness, several hundred other developmental editors. And then the template, the urban fantasy world building template that we used, was that 2 weeks ago? 1 week ago? The weeks, there's just so many. And then down here, some tools that have been used so far. So I've used, for a name generator, I used fantasynamegenerators.com. And also, this week I stepped in and used Notebook LM. And I'm going to explain to you why I did that. And I will show you a little bit of what I did. Because, yeah, if we go to the 25th, this was last week, and we look at the world building report. Well, I don't really want to look at the world building report. It was a disaster. Using the world building report, basically, we had a situation where we were going to run out of context. As soon as we started trying to build the codex for the series. And again, we're working on a series codex, so it's very high level stuff. I don't even have like what the characters look like. Like they have no appearance yet. I mean, other than what's in the pictures. But you know, super high level stuff. You know, actually, I'll go ahead and bring it up. Apparently, we had to wake up the muses. Uh-oh. Minor service outage. Okay, let's hope that doesn't impact us. It may not. Let's go ahead and we'll pull open the codex, and you're going to see I have 51 entries. This was a long slog. So I've got my hook, my pitch, my premise, my synopsis. I have my species. So we have basically everything and everyone who's in this world except for humans, because it's urban fantasy. Humans are humans. And then we have our magic system mechanics. Couple of those entries there. We've got our magical laws and enforcement. We've got the supernatural governance and the veil. Okay, and we've also got the underworld factions, vampire society, and structure. So this is something that we've done a lot of work on, specifically the vampire society, because our character is a vampire. And then finally, we get down here to the characters, and then the locations, the lore. That other stuff was actually lore as well, but I wanted to break it out so it was easier for me to enter. We also have additional lore, such as black markets, and I probably could move that into the other section. Some specific questions, mystery questions. So, who benefits from the mystery remaining unsolved? I think there's another one. So, what kind of twists could happen only in this world? We also have some series questions, which the series questions actually tie in directly to our plot. So we're definitely going to need to make sure we answer these questions. And then the supernatural economy. So this is something that I was trying to go to bed last night, and I'm like, you know what? Like, we haven't addressed like currency and money in the supernatural world. So I kind of sort of hit on it in this entry, but it's something else that I need to add. How do you, um, if you're not using cash money and like checks and cards and stuff, how do you pay for stuff in the supernatural world? Do we use uh, bargains? Do we um, do favors? Do we use gold? I don't know. So we're going to have to figure this out. So this is another, put a pin in this. This is something that we have to figure out, not necessarily today, but it's something that needs to be added here to this codex. And then the last thing is actually the story genre. But I ended up, completely trying to use and I actually archived it, so that's why you can't see it, the report that I created last week. Because I knew we were going to run out of context, I wanted to make sure that I could always refresh the LLM's memory. That became a problem. And the reason it became a problem was because it wasn't enough information for, we did I literally went through the world building questions 3 times. So there was thousands and thousands of words worth of information. And, with the sparse amount of information that was in the report, it was just making stuff up. And that's something else. This is some of the stuff we did last week, like goblins, some other stuff here. But basically, the LLM was just making stuff up. And I was like, this isn't going to work for me. I was like, what can I use to take all of this information and then use an LLM? And I want to make sure it's something that everybody can use, or that it's free. So I ended up going with Notebook LM. And so we've got, this is my original chat from GPT, where I was going through the questions the first time. I also have a chat from Novel Crafter. So I basically just grabbed the entire chat, put it into a document, and then downloaded it as a PDF. This is also another massive chat that I did with using input from these 2 documents to go through the questions. That was the 3rd time. And then this is the world building report that we created, or that I created and provided to everyone last week. That just wasn't enough. So I went ahead and I just stuck it in here too, since I had it as a PDF. And so after you add the sources, then basically you're able to ask questions. And then the Notebook LM will go into the sources and provide you with information. Now, Notebook LM is something that it took me quite a bit of trial and error to figure out. And I'm telling you, there was probably about 100 to 150 pages worth of information between the chats. There is so much stuff. Like I don't know why I did this to myself. Um this is I can't even tell. I've written so much stuff in my past. I have never done this much work in world building ever. So um I'm also using a Notebook LM for a project on my own. That is one that I actually wrote pre AI, and I'm trying to kind of uh, change the audience as well as like finish the series. So um, you're able to take information from a lot of places, throw it in here, and then go, okay, what the heck was I thinking 6 years ago? And yeah, it's coming slowly because I started like 10 different projects at the same time. How many of you guys do that? You're like, oh my gosh, I have this like great idea. And you just start the project and then you're like, I have too much to do right now. But let me go ahead and I'm going to walk you through what I did here. And then we need to boogie because we have a lot to cover. So if we come back here and we look at the session for today. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, I did some art for the characters using ChatGPT. So we've got Charlie, Kingston, Eddie, and Veritas. And just look at him. He looks so angry. He is such an angry kitty. Oh, on the call out about the multiple projects. Yeah, 100%. I'm the worst. I try to keep it down to 2. And yeah, I've been failing quite terribly. Okay, so and I forgot to tell you, if you guys want to download this codex that I have been working from, I didn't make the database yet, only because it's going to grow some more. And I don't think you want to have to deal with that yet, like an incomplete codex. So what you can do is extract this file and work with the index.html file. You can pop that into Claude, you can pop that into ChatGPT, and work with it there. Or you can copy and paste the information from the index.html into your novel crafter if you want to, or you could just wait. I will remind you that being able to import codexes is not available yet. So unfortunately. Okay, so we're down to our codex context plan B, because yes, the context was out of this world. I had so much stuff. Another thing I wanted to point out here is, so I put this podcast. So they'll take all of the information that you upload and create a podcast. It's just, 2 AI voices talking to each other about your project or whatever data that you uploaded. And it's hilarious. I thought it was so much fun. So I went ahead and I included it as well. Oops, wrong spot. So you can actually listen to the file here. So the conversation style. So by default, this has got a default conversation style, an analyst, a guide, and then there is custom. You can also change the response length. I left it. I didn't change anything. But I went ahead and I gave you the conversation style that I created so that you can use it. And then I also included a lot of the prompts. Like some of them were the same over and over and over again, but if it started getting a little weird or acting up, I went ahead and I changed how I asked questions. So you can actually copy these right out of here, edit them for your project, and you should be good to go. And like on this one, it changed where it wasn't giving me why the entry was relevant to the plot. So I came in and tell it, hey, be sure to add plot relevance. So, okay. So that is what you guys have access to this week. And so let's go into Novel Crafter. And we are going to start working on the plot. So we've got a story, which is a series spanning mystery or conspiracy. Now, remember, we're only doing 3 books. I've actually had it telling me, like, hey, after you get through with these, here's some other ideas. We are not going to follow those flights of whimsy right now because we just need to stay focused. And I'm telling that to myself because I will follow the whimsical flights of whateverness. So we've got a B story, which is our fresh supernatural case. That's in each book. So there is a self-contained mystery in the book. And then we've got our subplot subplot 1 is a slow burn romance between Charlie and Kingston. And then our subplot number 2 is our internal conflict / now I'm a vampire. What the heck do I do? So good times. Everyone's still awake. Okay. So let's look really quick at the prompt that I created. And we will go through the long list of prompts that I have created. Hold on. I have archived a bunch of them. Otherwise, it would be really bad. Okay. So let me explain to you what we're going to do. So you are a helpful expert plotting assistant to a novel author. Your role is to help the author plan and plot and this actually grabs the story genre, which is down here. We have it currently set to urban fantasy mystery, but as long as you have something in the story genre, it should go ahead and grab what's here. The author is working on a series arc, which is an overarching storyline across the series, individual story arcs, so each book is a self-contained mystery, and subplots, recurring or evolving across the books. Your job is to collaborate with the author as they build these arcs. So what is important here, and what I want to bring your attention to, is this section right here. So we've got all of the characters, all of the story world, which is actually the locations, and all of the story lore. The story lore is actually what I call the lore section. And when I say the lore section, I mean all of it. So when I ran this the first time, the input is over 12,000 words. So be careful when you run this prompt. 12,000 words in the prompt. It's just the prompt. That's not even the output. So everything else is pretty standard for our prompts here. So this is our plotting partner. The real purpose of this prompt is basically just to get information about the story world into the LLM. After that, I'm probably going to switch to my prompt for urban fantasy mystery, which I have way up here. Oh my, exactly. 12,000 words. It's huge. So we're actually going to use Flash and see how it works. So let's go over here, go to chat. Okay, I don't need anything in the context, but let's come and select our AI. And thankfully I have, here we go. We'll use the 2.5 Flash preview. Okay. Okay. I hate when it does that. And I'm just going to clean it up just a smidge, and then I will read it out loud. Let's see. I would love your help coming up with the plots and story arcs for this series. And I'm going to say 3-book series just to make it clear. I'm going to say series. Plots and story arcs for this 3-book series. A story, B story, subplot 1, and subplot 2. And this is actually a gift, not a curse. And where did I copy the text from? That would be from my Google Doc, but this information is actually here. Right here. And I can put it in there as well. Theoretically, I will remember. Okay, let me go ahead and send this again. I've got this with the Gemini 2.5. Just making sure there's no other questions. Okay. And this could crash and burn, or this could go very well. I don't know which way it's going to go. I just know that it's got a lot of context. Fantastic. Okay, so it's going to ask me some questions. Oh, no. It wasn't. It was not a list on the document that I copied it from. That's why. No, it's not broken. Space is trying to make sure that our stuff is working. Okay, so let's come up here. Fantastic. I'm so glad you're excited. I'm excited. Let's map out the territory, so to speak, to get started on brainstorming the series arc, the A story. So tell me a little bit more about the ultimate goal of Story A's conspiracy. We know the Carmina Syndicate is siphoning ley lines and involved in trafficking. With the goal of magical supremacy and bloodline perfection. What does winning look like for them by the end of the series? And what is the final form of their power grab? How does Charlie's personal connection to the conspiracy, her missing sire, drive the A story forward across the series? Will finding her sire be a goal for her throughout all 3 books? Her sire's dead, by the way. What kind of overarching tone or journey do you envision for this series arc? Okay. These are some really good questions. I've got to think about this. So what is the ultimate goal for A story's conspiracy? Okay. The goal for the Carmina Syndicate is to take over control of all of the ley lines. Cleveland, and the others across the United States. Because we're in the US, we're in Cleveland. I'm actually physically in Cleveland right now. So hello from Cleveland. Cleveland does not rock. Just saying. Okay, so they want to control all of the ley lines. Their ultimate goal is power. Not sure if that is too general or not. But we're going to go with that for now. And then we can always add more meat to it later. So, how does Charlie's personal connection to the conspiracy with her mission? Okay. So, Charlie's sire is actually dead. He was an enforcer who figured out the conspiracy, but was killed before he could report it to anyone. I have no idea why he turned her at this point. I just know he turned her. So, she came to his attention when she was human, working on a trafficking case that she didn't realize included supernaturals. This case is why she was on leave. Trafficking is icky. Okay. Alicia says, so I'm wondering what the Carmina Syndicate needs to teach Charlie or the lessons she learns from taking them down. So I kind of see Charlie as being like, trying to think. She's kind of like the chaotic force that just kind of brings their downfall. As far as, there's an opportunity for them to try to traffic her because of her power, or try to bring her into their fold. But as far as what she's going to learn taking them down, she's just trying to figure out why the heck she's a vampire right now. As far as I know. I can tell you that so much stuff has kind of connected that I didn't even expect it to, just working on this project. Like, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, good job doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I didn't do that. I hadn't even thought that far ahead yet. Okay. So what kind of overarching tone or journey do you envision for the series arc? Slow unraveling of secrets, race against... Okay, it's definitely a race against an escalating threat. Wow, I cannot spell. Wow. Okay, so she is trying... We have to stop the Communist Syndicate before they take over all of the ley lines. We specifically are trying to keep them from taking over Cleveland. So whether or not they get another town before Cleveland is saved, I don't know yet. So this is what I do know. And I'm sure I'm trying to sleep later. I will figure out more. Okay, let's see what this has to say. Okay, this is fantastic. Knowing their goal is the total control of the U.S. ley lines. Her sire is the deceased enforcer. escalating race against time. So, okay. Overall goal, Charlie, starting from her sideline position in the DLO, must uncover the full scope of Carmina Syndicate's conspiracy to control the U.S. ley lines and gain magical supremacy, and find a way to expose or dismantle their operation before they achieve their ultimate goal. This journey will take her from uncovering small pieces of the puzzle in Cleveland to potentially challenging the syndicate on a national scale. Yeah, that's a lot to ask for in 3 books. So, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. So we can have an escalating threat. So focus on the local impact in Cleveland. Carminids are actively siphoning the Cleveland nexus, causing localized magical disturbances. Charlie sees it in her DLO cases. The threat feels contained, but is causing weird, dangerous anomalies. She discovers her sire was investigating this specific local issue and was killed because of it. She might even find an echo of him or a ghost to give her initial clues. I'm going to say no on this. And I probably need to add that to the lore. I think once a vampire is dead, they're dead. They're dead. Like, they're gone. Their spirit is out. Like, they already had a second chance at life. And yeah, they're gone. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Okay. So book 2, so expand to a regional or a connected threat. The Carminas are connecting nexus points, potentially leveraging the Cleveland nexus to influence nearby cities or set up operations in other connected nexus city. Perhaps Chicago. Scale of magical disturbance increases, perhaps affecting larger areas to introduce new types of anomalies. Charlie discovers the conspiracy is much larger than Cleveland, and then the Carminas, and using this siphoned energy for specific horrifying purposes, like their trafficking and breeding programs. So, yes. Okay, Emery says agree. So that means she agrees that we should make, once they're dead, they're dead. They don't get to be ghosts. Tamari, you included that in your book too? Awesome. Okay. Alicia, yep. Okay. And if one doesn't die, comes back, that's a whole new mystery to solve. So, what do you mean by that, Emery? So if there's a vampire that doesn't die and comes back, what do you mean? Okay. We're going to go on while she answers that question. To book 3. And so the threat goes national, it becomes existential. We love us some existential crises. Or crises? Crises? I don't know. What's the plural of crisis? The Carmanians are now on the verge of consolidating control over multiple ley lines. The phase might involve attempting a massive ritual, weaponizing the siphon energy, or even attempting to collapse lesser nexus points to consolidate their power in key locations. Goal isn't just power, it's to fundamentally reshape the supernatural world order with humans, specifically in their bloodline, on top. Yes, this is it right here. It's to fundamentally reshape the supernatural world with their bloodline in charge. Charlie must find a way to expose them to the wider supernatural government or even other factions who would be threatened by their success, forcing a confrontation that risks shattering the veil. Very much. Okay. Emery, so if it's established that they don't come back as ghosts, but one does. Oh, yes. Okay. Now I understand. So, yes, Emery's saying that if a vampire dies and there is a ghost, then that could be a potential new mystery. So, we didn't have a parahuman, well, I guess a psychic vampire. Every time I see psychic vampire, I giggle because that What We Do in the Dark show. It was the one guy was a psychic vampire. Anyway, okay. Charlie's journey within the arc. So she starts as a reluctant assigned agent, solving weird male cases over the series. She's going to connect the dots between her personal trauma and the larger conspiracy. Her unique ability to communicate with the dead is going to become increasingly vital as she gathers spectral evidence that living can't find. Yes, this right here. She moves to being a monitored liability to a key, unpredictable partner. And yes, I really Colin Robinson. Yes, the he was a psychic vampire. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So she has to decide whether to fight within the corrupt system or to align with outside forces to bring down the Carmitas, and her evolving understanding of the ley lines and their history becomes a weapon against the Carmitas. Yes, very much so. So now we have choices to make. I mean, is she going to fight within the corrupt system? I don't think so. I definitely think that she's here to rebel against the system, and I think that the supernatural administration and the Vampire Corps will probably side with Carminas because they're corrupt. They're trying to get power too. So, it makes more sense for the supernatural administration and the Vampire Corporation to align with the bad guys. So that gives us some opportunities for some minor bad guys and some skirmishes and that kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, it's very rough, but you know what? It's coming together. So, you know what? I forgot to switch over to my other thing. So let me do this. Let me move over to my dev editor and get my dev editor involved in this. And I'm going to go, shoot, I don't think I have Flash Mini on here. I don't. So let's add it. I have lots of prompts. Oops, I went too. Oh wait, I didn't go far enough. Here we go. Plotting partner. Here we go. Yeah, I grabbed the right one. Okay. I really need to archive some more of these. Okay, that's the right one. Add from clipboard. Okay. And we move it up. And we'll go back here to chat, and we will continue our chat. All we're going to do is swap out. Here we go. Oops. I did it wrong. I'm going to come here and do this. Dev editor. Flash preview. Okay. And now I'm talking to like a whole new person. So that's why I'm going to say this. So what do you think about the A story? I do this in GPTs all the time. You're able to have one GPT that you're working with, and then you're able to basically tag in another GPT. And that's quite often why I will create GPTs, is because I can basically have them talk to each other. Okay, so based on your feedback, I think proposed A story is incredibly strong and has fantastic potential for the urban fantasy mystery series. Okay, and it's giving me its reasons why. Okay. Okay. Now, I'll go back and read that later. Let's take a stab at the B story. Options. The title for book 1 is tentatively, wow, I can't spell that word, Return to Sender. Okay. Okie-doke. So Excellent Return to Sender is a fantastic title. Well, of course it is. So given a story arc, we've established Carmina and Syndicate is siphoning Cleveland's ley lines. Her sire was killed investigating this, and book 1 is going to focus on the local impact. So the goal for B story in book 1 is to be a compelling, self-contained investigation that Charlie undertakes for the DLO, but with subtle or directly provides clues, connections to the A story. Yes, 100%. Okay, so the haunted parcel. The package that was mailed but never arrived or was sent back to the DLO contained something very unsettling or magically active. So here's the angle with the trafficking connection. It contains a cursed artifact used in binding rituals. The ghost attached to it was a victim of supernatural trafficking, trying to send a message before they were moved or disposed of. The ghost story might hint at a specific methods, locations, or even symbols used by the traffickers, who we already know are the Caminas. Okay. Also, we got the ley line disruption. So the package somehow traveled or was corrupted by a recent ley line disturbance. The ghost attached is someone killed or trapped because of the siphoning. And their tale reveals that the location or method of local siphoning or a disturbing side effect that they witnessed. Okay. We also have the sire investigation connection. So it was the last thing that Charlie's sire was looking into. Or perhaps it was magically returned from his hidden safe house or a scene he investigated. The ghost isn't his, but someone connected to that specific investigation point. So I'm thinking if this enforcer was investigating the Carminas and or the ley line siphoning, he turns this chick, who we know is Charlie. Why wouldn't he try to get her some like information so she knows what the heck is going on? So maybe we need to figure that out. So we've got ghost witness mail, letters or emails. Even digital ghosts exist. Okay. Interesting. Seemingly from different sources, but contain fragmented, overlapping observations about something disturbing happening in Cleveland. Okay. I kind of like this, but not really. You basically have mail coming in from a bunch of different places, and it all starts to form a picture. And I don't think so. I think definitely the haunted parcel right now is definitely looking as what I'll want to do. The cursed mail carrier, not a piece of mail itself, but the mail carrier. Perhaps a formal postal worker who died on their route near a nexus point. Okay. Desperately trying to deliver or retrieve something crucial. So the mail carrier was delivering a package or message related to this conspiracy. At the moment they died, likely murdered by an agent trying to intercept the message. Their unfinished business is the final delivery, and the ghost is tied to the undelivered item or the specific spot where they were killed, granting Charlie access to the final moments and observations. I'm not sure about that one. I like that one better than the previous one, but I'm not sure. The living dead letter, a human shows up at DLO or sends something claiming they were declared dead or vanished under mysterious circumstances and that their death is tied to conspiracy. That's weird. So another potential witness, minor playing in the trafficking ring. No. This is just too weird. I mean, I like weird, but that's just too weird. So what are you guys feeling? The living dead letter. I'm kind of going towards the haunted parcel. I do want to try to stay away. We secret twin incoming. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness space. Goodness. I don't want to dig too far into trafficking. It is definitely something that is I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word? Goodness. Anyways, I don't want it to touch it directly. I can mention it, but I don't. I definitely would have to be putting some sort of warning that, trafficking is mentioned. In my day job, I fight human trafficking. It's not a good thing. Hey, Brittany. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, toddler life. I've been there. The haunted parcel seems like the best route. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I just don't think that the other ones are feasible. And plus, they're the dead letter office. I mean, I think we need to go out with something, start off with something that is going to be related specifically to them being a post office. Like that makes sense to me. I don't know about you guys. So let's go with maybe trigger warning. Thank you, Alicia. That was the words that you're reading my brain there. Trigger warning. The idea of trafficking, it can be triggering to some people, and I 100% get that. And I don't want to make it too dark. But I want to make it like abundantly clear that these people are doing some shady stuff. So, okay. So we haven't really nailed this down, but let's just say that we're going to go with the angle 3, the Sire investigation. So, I think we'll go with the haunted parcel. Angle 3. Okay. And we have a couple minutes left, but I want to go ahead and let's start hitting at least the first subplot. Let's touch on subplot 1. Wow. The slow burn romance with Kingston. Okay. And Emery, Kingston is definitely 100% giving me Val vibes. 100%. And you know what I mean. They won't. And most other people, unless they're reading your series, aren't going to know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay. Excellent choice. The haunted package with angle 3 provides a direct personal link between Charlie's story, mystery, and her A-story motivation. Package linked in his final investment is a perfect hook for book 1. Okay. Let's move on to the subplot. Charlie and Kingston, the slow burn. Grumpy, distrustful, pragmatic Charlie versus suspiciously cheerful, charming, possibly treasonous Kingston. And I think my favorite part of his thing is that he likes he likes coats. Shoot. Here he is. There he is. There's his shiny face. Where is it? Oh, a perchant for dramatic coats. I love that. It makes me laugh every time. Master Tamari says, "Oh, nice slow burn. I'll spend all 3 books yelling at them to get together." Yes, it's definitely going the route of Bones. Of course, the minute they get together, then the series is going to end. Just Mesra, I was writing a thriller about trafficking and had to stop because it upset me. I'm going to finish it, but slowly. 100%. You definitely need to keep your own, mental health in mind when you pick your stories. And like for my day job, I'm dealing with that kind of stuff and fighting with counterterrorism and stuff like that. So it's nice to get away to the worlds of fiction, right? I don't have to worry about counterterrorism and stuff like that. So anyway, so he's the sunshine to her grump, but beneath the facade, there's likely mystery and perhaps a hidden agenda, or at least hidden complexities. Yes. They should spark witty banter, mutual annoyance, and subtle moments of reliance or unexpected connection. Yes, 100%. So we are going to start with tension and distrust. It looks like growing reliance and questioning motives, and then forced proximity, resolve secrets, and potential for commitment. What do we got here? So he is introduced as the consultant at the DLO. Charlie distrusts his presence and his motives. I think we're going to have to do a little bit more work on where the story is actually going to start. And this is something that we talked about last week, because I was like, I think we should write like a prequel, and that should have her getting turned. But I'm definitely not writing a prologue. Definitely not writing a prologue. That's just typically a excuse for people to info dump. I'm not doing it. We are going to start with action. But the question is, where does the story start? Does it start while she's still human and then she gets turned into a vampire? Does it start with her waking up in the alleyway and not knowing what happened? Or does it start with she's already been assigned to the DLO, and then we have to figure out, through, and I will tell you right now, I do not do flashbacks. I don't do flashbacks. But we would have to figure out kind of what her story is somehow. I personally prefer stories where the turning is in the first book, not just some random book 0.5 or so. Okay, I agree with that. I've seen it done good, and I've seen it done bad, where there is a prequel that has a lot of information that you really do need going into the story. So Brittany says, I usually don't like prologues in books. I think the story is going to drag if I see one in a book. I am 100% in agreement with you. When it comes to prologues, I am in the no box. I have been burned by prologues before and stopped reading because I knew it was going to happen at the end. Those kill me. I think her waking up would grab my attention the most as a reader. Okay. Did I miss her growth arc? That's a good place to start when she needs to change. We haven't gotten to the growth arc yet. So that is actually subplot 2. We just haven't gotten there yet. So yeah, that's a maybe I need to do her internal conflict first before I do the others. I'm not sure. Just betcha. I did trial work for 30 plus years and had to step back because of the horrific cases. Yes, I understand. Space says, I think the key that the turning is a crucial part of the mystery puzzle of the first book. Having it be just the thing is indeed just filler material. Just the thing. Okay. I really want to explore it. I want to explore her transition from human to vampire. Um, let's just say that that's the plan. It doesn't have to be a big thing. We can have it be, just the opening. If we're thinking um of using Save the Cat, like the opening image is, you know, her thinking about, well, I like action. So maybe it's her chasing down a bad guy or something. Um, but she's supposed to be on leave, so that won't work. I'll have to come up with something better. Okay. So homework for me is going to be to kind of nail down these plots and arcs and subplots. I need to nail something down. I need to have something that we can work from to create an outline next week. That's the plan. I also need to determine um, uh, what framework I want to use, even. I have put out several different types of frameworks. I've put out ones that are inspired by books that are dealing with mysteries. I've put out ones that are related to romance, but I need to kind of take them and mush them together because we'll need a framework for the entire series arc, as well as a framework for each individual book. So Master Tamari, I mean, she's a cop on leave, and not if she sees something happening, I imagine she'll chase after. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. If she thinks something's going on, she would definitely jump in and try to help. That's definitely the kind of person I think that she is. She's just really grumpy about it. And she'll probably complain about like a stub toe or her back hurts or something after. So I think we're in a good place. I'm really happy with the way that prompt worked out, because it was able to take all of that information, which was a lot, and just put it into the LLM, um, so that we can access it and reference it. As far as the codex goes, so we're going to have more characters. These are not the only characters by a long shot. As we build the outline, then we're going to be able to figure out, who are the secondary and the minor characters that we need in each of these books. We're also going to have locations. So right now we only have Cleveland and the Dead Letter Office, but as we figure out, okay, where is the story taking Charlie, we're going to have to add in more locations. And I'm going to remind you that this is a series codex. Everything goes in here. Everything is going to be kept in here. When we start building the individual books, some of the lore is actually going to go to the individual books, but the characters aren't. Some characters are going to be in book 1, but they may not be in book 2 and book 3. There might be characters that don't show up until book 2. So how I create my codexes or codices, is that I put my character how they are on day one. And so I can't use this character profile for Charlie because this is her entire like backstory and everything. Like everything is in here. I can't use that because that's way too much information for the LLM. It will try to rush the story. So going to be using this, and then also as we learn new things, as we continue on our investigation, then we have the ability through Novel Crafter to be able to add context as we go. So I am super duper psyched for this. Brittany says, I'm interested in how you will do the framework for a series. I started a fantasy series, but found it overwhelming to try to keep each book a unique story, but having a series arc. Brittany, are you doing, is it all a continuous story, or is it what I like to call an interconnected series where it is different people in each book, but they're either like in the same town, or they're all like relatives, or like that? Because I actually already have some tools. Let me find for you. I'll let you know where they are. So give me 1 second. And if you have any of the codexes, at least the later ones, no, actually they aren't in there. Hold on. They're in the genre packs, and you guys don't have access to the genre packs yet because I haven't launched them yet. But I have like a number of genre packs ready to go. I just need to put them on the website. Okay, share documents. Okay. So anyone who has the Byte-Sized AI toolkit, it is free. I can put a link to the toolkit in the file as well. Interconnected series. Okay. If you scroll past the quick access table of contents down to the legacy table of contents, you will see popular story frameworks. In here, I have an interconnected series template. Right here, this thing is the bomb. You might, though, want to use it in like chat GPT. This kind of prompting tends to be a little bit persnickety in Novel Crafter. But then you can take what you create into Novel Crafter and write the story. There's also, I have the Save the Cat series arcs in here too. So I've got a duology, a trilogy, a quadrilogy, and a pentalogy. And so it just takes you, but these are a connected series, not an interconnected series. So basically we could use the trilogy if we wanted to. And so book 1 is set up early challenges and the first major turning point. And then it actually also inside of the book itself has, the individual things that need to happen as well. So book 2 is the escalation of conflict, new challenges, and midpoint crisis. And then book 3 is the climax, resolution, and the conclusion of the series. So, and it gives you, at, percentage points. So if you are writing a book that is 90,000 words, it gives you kind of a give or take of where you should be when you are doing those individual things. So, and these different beats, because life is funny like that, there is story beats, and then when you're writing with Novel Crafter, there's scene beats, and they're not the same thing. Okay, so that is actually in the AI toolbox. I also have the Lester Dent up here, Romancing the Beat, Save the Cat, Hero's Journey, and one that I made it myself, the Mafia Romance. There's also several others in other stuff I've made. So I really probably should add them here too. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I'll get the link for the Byte-Sized AI Toolbox added to the resources as well for anyone who needs it. Any questions? I know I've gone over a little bit today. I just had a lot to say. You forgot the novel clock. I did forget the novel. And I actually brought up novel clock the other day. Shoot, week 3, I think it was. I started talking about novel clock, and I got distracted. Let's go look at novel clock. Thank you, Space. Where am I going? Oh, novel crafter. Here we go. Here in resources, we have the 12-act structure that is novel clock. I have not played with it yet. I definitely want to. I should see if it would be a good fit for this. But here we go. We've got Act 0, 1 through, I believe, 12. Yep. This is written by Corey, and Corey is awesome. So I'll also add a link to this as well. Like I said, I tried to talk about it, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I got distracted. Any other questions? Comments? Concerns? Otherwise, have an amazing weekend, because, yeah, just do it. Oh, yeah. I've seen some stuff that they've been creating with novel clock, and that's actually to throw her under the bus. Space had a prompt that she was working with, and it had to do with novel clock, and she only prompted twice, ended up with a 13,000 word short story. You are absolutely welcome. Thank you for coming, Space. And for those of you who don't know, Space is the developer of Novel Crafter. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys know that. Okay. I'm going to take that as no questions. I will go and I'll add the additional resources. And I'm going to call it a day, guys. I'll probably go play some Dreamlight Valley and read. Master Tamari, you are very welcome. So yeah, next week, outlining, I hope. That's the plan. Don't hold me to that. Oh, and last thing, we will not have a stream on the 30th. I'm going to take that week off. So May 30th, that's the week of Memorial Day here in the US. I'm taking the day off. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Have an awesome weekend, actually.